Hey, I'm Jerry, and this is the 27-inch 2020 iMac, and it's the computer that I keep going back to over the last year. This is the 16-inch MacBook Pro with M1 Max, and it's the new kid on the block that brings a new design, a flashy new processor, and a ProMotion display. So, in this video, I wanted to take a look at these two computers side by side to try to figure out if the 16-inch MacBook Pro can finally replace my 27-inch iMac for desktop use. Now, when I say desktop use, there's a lot that goes into that decision for me. So let's just start by looking at both of these computers' design and features. And I think it's safe to say that both of these computers can be considered all-in-ones, right? Right out of the box, both of these machines come with everything you need to get up and running, and there's nothing you have to add if you don't want to. There's a display, keyboard, mouse, camera, speakers, and microphone. All of the things that you need to computing stuff. The iMac comes in a very large package with big black bezels all around the display, which sits above a big old chin, which all sits on an aluminum base. All of the ports are around back, and this whole thing weighs about 20 pounds. The MacBook Pro 16-inch is a classic clamshell design which has grown up a little bit from previous models. We get thinner bezels all around the display, which includes a notch, a black-on-black keyboard, big touchpad, and ports on both sides. All in a fairly portable package weighing less than 5 pounds. The 27-inch iMac has a beautiful 27-inch 5K display, which renders at 2560 by 1440 with true 2x Retina, giving you an absolutely beautiful, sharp picture. You get 500 nits of max brightness, 1200:1 contrast ratio, P3 wide color, and True Tone. The 16-inch MacBook Pro, although smaller than the 27-inch, does boast more features like a 1600 nit max brightness for HDR, 2500 local dimming zones because of the mini LEDs, 1,000,000:1 contrast ratio, and variable 120 Hz ProMotion display, along with P3 colors and True Tone. Both of these computers have what I would call the best overall or most rounded displays for their class, meaning that in any one category, say refresh rate or brightness or something, they may not be the best you can possibly get. But overall, when it comes to brightness, color accuracy, and added features, they're the best overall package you can get. The 16-inch MacBook Pro display obviously wins out in features and performance, but it's small when used on a desk setup. The 27-inch display on the iMac feels like the right size for me when used on a desk setup. You can totally add a 27-inch display to a MacBook Pro, and there are a ton of 4K options out there, like this Dell, and it can scale to the same resolution as the iMac, but it's not as sharp, not as bright, and not as consistent as the iMac display. There is an LG 5K option, but by today's standards, it looks pretty bad, made of mostly plastic, and it wobbles, and it's just not as consistent in quality compared to Apple displays. For a full multimedia experience, speakers are an important piece, and both of these computers received upgraded speaker systems. The 27-inch 2020 iMac gained the T2 chip, which allows for enhanced bass response, which sounds really good on a wood desk. And the 16-inch was given a 6-speaker system with force-canceling woofers on each side. Now, in my personal opinion, the iMac is much louder and bassier compared to the MacBook, but the MacBook has more clarity in the highs. But why don't you take a listen and let me know what you think. Looking at ports, Apple definitely upped their MacBook port game this time with Thunderbolt ports, a headphone jack, SD card slot, and HDMI out. Oh, and of course that dedicated charging port with MagSafe. The 27-inch iMac still gets Ethernet, 2 Thunderbolt ports, 4 USB-A ports, an SD slot, and a headphone jack. I think that the iMac wins out when it comes to ports because I do still use Ethernet at my desk, and I do still use some USB-A devices. But if neither of these devices has all of the ports that you want when you're saddled to a desk, you can always throw on a Thunderbolt dock to add all of the ports that you need. When it comes to the standard keyboard and mouse accessories, the MacBook has that big, massive built-in trackpad and a redesigned Magic Keyboard sans touch bar. The iMac can be bought with either a Magic Mouse or Magic Trackpad along with a Magic Keyboard. For desktop use, I actually like to use both a mouse and a trackpad. I like a mouse for precision editing and flying around the interface, but I also like the trackpad for gestures like pinch to zoom and 3-finger swiping between screens. The new keyboard on the MacBook Pro has all of the recently updated buttons, including Spotlight, Dictation, and Do Not Disturb, which I love almost as much as I love having Touch ID built in. Having built-in Touch ID on the MacBook is so good and so fast, you know what? I don't even need to talk about it because you already know what it is, but it's fast and it's awesome. One thing I don't like about using the MacBook keyboard at a desk for long periods of time is stress on my arms and shoulders and forearms because of how far up the keyboard is because of the massive trackpad in front. This is just a me problem, but I prefer to have the keyboard as close to the front of the desk as possible because I find that more comfortable. And I can do that with the external Magic Keyboard that comes with the iMac, but unless I buy a new one, I'm stuck with the old key layout, including a CD eject key that does, nothing. Now, it's been almost 2 years since a lot of people have started working from home, and we finally have that updated 1080p camera in the new 16-inch MacBook Pro. The 2020 iMac also got a brand new 1080p camera system as well, and they both got the brand new studio quality microphones for all of those Zoom, Skype, Teams, WebEx, Google Meets, Hangouts, Duo, GChat, or whatever Google is calling their internet calling service today. But compared to a couple years ago, both of these devices have seen big improvements. So let me know in the comments which one you think has better picture and audio. When it comes to CPU performance on paper, the 10-core M1 Max is going to win pretty much all of the benchmarks. There's just no other way to say it. For graphics, the 32-core GPU on the M1 Max beats out the i7 and the 5500 XT by about 50%. Even the 24-core GPU option that Luke Miani showed comes out ahead of this 5500 XT. Then there's chip-specific things that the M1 Max can do better because it's built in, like video encoding, which can shave minutes off of my Final Cut Pro exports. But the Intel chips can actually do certain things faster too, like Thunderbolt SSD drive speeds, as you can see in this test of 4 drives I did a while back. Despite these differences in numbers, they're really not that far apart in my daily use, and neither of these computers feel slow. I mean, does 150 miles per hour really feel a lot faster than 120 miles per hour? I don't know. When comparing the 27-inch iMac to last year's M1 MacBook Pro, there were plenty of times when the iMac just felt faster, and indeed was in multi-core and graphics tests. But so far, with the M1 Max, I have not felt any hesitation like I have with the M1s compared to the iMac. Both of these computers seem to have Final Cut issues lately, but I think that's more of a Final Cut issue and not hardware. With specs and performance out of the way, each of these machines do have advantages over the other. For example, with the 27-inch iMac, you're still able to run full x86 Windows in Boot Camp if that's something you need. And if you have the 5500 XT graphics or even the 5700 XT, you can do some real Windows gaming if that's your thing. The iMac also has the ability for you to expand the RAM as you need easily with the backdoor access, and you can stick up to 128 gigabytes of memory in there. And because the iMac is a desktop computer, there's little else you need for a more ergonomic desktop Mac setup. The M1 Max MacBook Pro, on the other hand, has the ability to run iOS apps if you want to because, you're running Apple Silicon. In my use, I found very few iOS apps that I actually need or want on my Mac, but if you know some good ones, let me know in the comments below. The MacBook is also a laptop, so you get the option of portability and you can take your desk anywhere. When it comes to pricing, the 16-inch M1 Max MacBook Pro starts at $3,099 for the M1 Max with its 10-core processor, 24-core GPU, 32 gigabytes of unified memory, and 512 gigabytes of storage. The 27-inch iMac that I have, on the other hand, will start out at $2299 for the i7 version with its 8-core hyper-threaded CPU, Radeon Pro 5500 XT graphics, 8 gigabytes of memory, and 512 gigabytes of storage. Now, that's a pretty big difference between $2,300 and $3,100. But of course, you're going to say, hey Jerry, you're talking about 32 gigabytes of memory in the M1 Max and only 8 gigabytes in the iMac. Sure, but if you spec the iMac to 32 gigabytes of memory to match the M1 Max, then the iMac comes out at $2,900, so only a $200 difference. But like I said before, you can expand the memory in the 27-inch iMac at any time with third-party memory. So you don't need to spend $600 on Apple memory when you can spend $130 on some OWC memory instead. So even when matching the memory, you can still save hundreds of dollars on a 27-inch iMac over the 16-inch M1 Max MacBook Pro. Not only that, but if you keep an eye on the Apple refurb store, you can save even more money for essentially a brand new machine. I have bought off the Apple refurb store a lot, and I highly recommend it. So overall, when it comes to desktop use, the 27-inch iMac still wins my heart. I just love the big 5K display, the cleanliness of an all-in-one desktop setup, and the performance is still more than acceptable for most people for most things. Sure, I could use the 16-inch MacBook Pro with an external display and keyboard and mouse, but then I'm most likely stuck with a main display that's subpar. But then I would also have the latest and the greatest. I do love the built-in Touch ID. They are both fantastic machines in their own ways, and I love them both, so crap. I guess I still can't decide. But what do you guys think? Are you more of an iMac desk setup person, or do you prefer the options and the portability that a laptop offers? Let me know below. Hit the thumbs up button if this helped you at all, even though I apparently didn't help myself. Hit subscribe for more random thoughts, and I guess I'll see you next time.